Going in. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You doing a lot of texting over there while we're recording a show?
I'm involved.
I mean, do you want to wait until you're done with your social interaction?
Oh my God.
With your much more important people?
I mean, let's be real. What all does she have to do during Fanteraction?
Thank you.
Goddamn dreams. Oh, people don't defend her. I was setting up good bonus content there. All right. Fanteraction. And she just picked the phone right back up.
I got Neil on my side. Whatever.
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good. It's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming. Welcome to another Horrible Gaming Podcast. I don't know why you decided to tune in, but you did, and I thank you for it. With me, as always, is
Neil, a.k.a. a tiny wizard.
We also have a special guest today. We'll get to that in a second, but before we do, the normal disclaimers. We do this off our computers in whatever time we can muster together. My kid is, as usual, in the background with a tablet. I am sure we are going to hear her at some point. Then just a couple of quick shout outs. Mark Bell, thank you for all the original graphics you have done for this show. And then, of course, Nick Van Sliders, thank you for this theme song and all the theme songs for all of the programming here at Old Man Gaming. Now, back to the special guest at hand. We have a special guest, a first-time guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I guess, if I have to.
Good start.
I'm Melissa Van Sliders, Zach's unfortunate wife.
Wow. Wow. Okay, we're at me right off the bat.
You might know me from, what's our show called?
Wow.
Prelude
Dude,
to
you forgot
Divorce.
the name of our show?
Prelude to Divorce.
Oh, I don't know how to feel about that. Yes, Prelude to Divorce. She is my partner in crime in Prelude to Divorce. But she is on the show for a very specific reason. And anybody who has watched Prelude to Divorce will know that she is the definition of an old school gamer. She only really plays old school 2D platformers. She loves Mario. She loves Donkey Kong. She really just has not changed with the times in any way, shape, or form.
What?
She cannot wrap her head around games. She cannot use her periffs.
No.
I
cannot multitask in games.
Yeah, we've talked about that. So what do you love about the platforming games? Like, just give us a quick one. Like, we'll just take a couple minutes so people can get to know you.
I mean, there's a beginning, there's an end. It's not like when we played that Russian game the other day.
A Soviet jump game?
Yeah.
It's okay for you to remember what games are called, you know. Like, you won't be uncool. Every time we play a game, whenever we go back to it, she's like, that one game with the guy that did the thing? Like, every time.
Whatever. Even that game, it kind of bothered me that there was the, other people in there that could, try to hurt you, and you were hurting them. Like, I just want to collect my coins and kill the Bowser guy and just... I don't know, like a beginning and an end and not too complicated. It's simple and mindless. And I also get frustrated when it's too difficult, and then I'm like, nah, I just don't want to play it anymore.
Now that surprises me because I know you have completed Mario 3 and Super Mario World, which are the height of difficult in my opinion. So that's...
What?
What do you mean what? They're platformers. Platformers are super hard. Jumping-based platformers are nightmares. They're nightmares.
I mean, they're hard if you've never played them, but I mean, if you've played Mario, you've played Mario pretty much.
I don't think so. I hate the jumping. I hate the jumping mechanics in this game.
I mean,
I love Soviet jump game, but it's not for the jumping. That's for sure.
I mean, it was fun. It just, having that aspect of the other people, trying to hide out from other people. I don't want it to be that complicated. I don't want to look out for everybody. I just want to look out for my mushrooms and my bullets coming at me, and that's it.
We are very glad to have you on the show. You are, in my opinion, a specialist on the old school games. So I'm very excited to get your take on this and kind of all the planets aligned for our subjects today. And if anybody out there has guessed at this point, it's probably going to be a lot of Nintendo stuff. But we'll get into that.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our first segment of the show and possibly our favorite, Fan Traction. That's where we, the hosts, like to open a dialogue with you guys, the fans, in anywhere you comment, whether it be Discord, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Twitter, wherever. We like to try and read your comments on the show. We also decide the Horrible Arena winners. And we also usually ask a question of some sort to you guys just to keep the conversation going. So without further ado, let's get into these comments there, Neil.
All right.
Can you guess who was the first person to comment?
Well, I would be lying if I said that I would be completely surprised if it wasn't Kev.
Well, ding, ding, ding. Kev Tutal, as usual. He actually commented directly on us, and I kind of want to rebuttal his comment on the air, so it's good.
Rebut.
There it is. It's going to be a show of correction. This is what my life is. So basically, did I stop that in between Fan Traction?
I don't think so.
Shit.
What?
I fucked up the stopwatch. That was a quick fuck up. All right. Okay. So
Yes, those 30 seconds are gone forever.
Well, we had a longer than that between Fan Traction. I didn't stop it between the credits and Fan Traction.
You also didn't stop it right now.
Well, no, of course not. This is on the air. We're in the segment.
This is in the show.
This is why it's a horrible podcast. We're committed to shitting the bed.
Peak entertainment.
Kev Tutal says Netflix doesn't pay 30% to Apple. Apple has made deals to reduce the 30%. It should be less than 30% because Apple simply provides the access. They don't make these apps or content within. Why should they get paid for it? Okay, Kev, I agree with you. That wasn't what we were saying, though. What we didn't understand was why Epic decided to start this fight so publicly and so abruptly. Like, we heard nothing of negotiations breaking down. They never said, hey, we asked them to reduce it, and they said no. It was just all of a sudden a shock and awe campaign from Epic to Apple. That was the thing that we were saying. Like, I don't think Apple deserves the 30%. I'm not necessarily against you. It's just Epic very clearly started a war over something that had been the status quo for many, many years, and there didn't seem to be any reason for it. Are you with me on that, Neil?
Yeah, and I would also add, too, like, they weirdly, like, as I had said last week, like, weaponized the player base in, like, an odd way. And it's almost like it's almost abusive in some regard because they're using just everyday regular people, essentially in their eyes peons, to go fight their battle over millions of dollars. It's just all just disgusting when you think about it in that regard.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like I would be all for it if it felt like Apple was putting the prospective boot over the little guy's throat. But it really felt like a giant company decided to stab another giant company in the back for no apparent reason, you know? And that's what bothered me about it. And they used us to do it. But don't get me wrong, Kev. I don't necessarily think Apple deserves the 30%. I'm just saying that, like, if you've been committing to the 30% for years, and then you never asked them to reduce it, and then all of a sudden you just, like, go batshit crazy on them for it, it's weird. So moving on from the serious one, our next commenter is actually Kayla. She says, not sure if this counts, but I want more couch co-op games, referring to us asking what kind of games people want to see more of. And I agree, Kayla, and that is definitely a thing that counts. Neil and I have pretty much run out of our slim collection of what we have, and it's annoying. Many games are online co-op. I shouldn't need 2 consoles to play a game with my husband. My vote this week is for Neil's game. To which I actually responded and said, as a person who runs a show with his wife, that is based on couch co-op, it's rough.
It's how they get you, Kayla.
We actually briefly did entertain the idea of getting like a second Xbox at one point, and then just like quickly shut it down because like a $200 just for us to play a game together. While it'd be great to actually play that game together, there's other things that we can do.
Don't let them win, Neil.
Yeah, right.
As a person we're eventually going to buy another Xbox. We've already talked about it.
But not for the same room.
No, not for that, and not for the same room. I know it's very frustrating. Like we are 20, I think we're 28, going on 29 episodes into our show, and like I'm having a hard time finding games that me and her can play together. The last game we did, we took turns, so.
That's actually. Oh, sorry.
No,
I was just gonna say.
Switch too, and you can't capture on Switch.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, even today, we went over to GameStop this morning, and I picked up a copy of Final Fantasy X-10-2 HD remaster for the PS4, so we can take turns on that. Just because, like, again, like there are so few games out there that line up with both of our tastes. First off.
Right. And
like actually have that built-in split screen function that we haven't already played a bunch already.
So moving on, she also says my vote this week is for Neil's game, and surprisingly enough, I went over it multiple times. Kev never voted. Kev too tall, buddy.
Oh.
And again, he does sometimes vote later, and while I did send out on Discord, we were recording today. I didn't send it out until like 4 hours ago, so we might not have seen it. But you win, sir. You took kind of a surprising victory.
I mean, with one vote, I don't know how surprising it could be in general, but hey, I'm cool with it.
It's usually one vote. It's usually one vote that decides it. I will say, can I just say now that it's all over, I actually thought your game was better. Like mine is more exciting, but I thought your game was more fundamentally put together. So I think that was a well-deserved win for you.
Well, that is ironic given I came up with it about an hour before we recorded.
You need to stop telling them that, okay?
But
I'll tell you in the shitter like 30 before. So like don't even like very rarely do I give it the thought that it sounds like I give it. So
well, I always struggle with the pitch part, and this time for my pitch this week, I actually have a note typed out on my computer with everything I want to say. So I think now I may have cracked the code.
Okay. All right. That sounds fun. All right. So continuing through, Kev Too Tall. Big conventions that don't directly sell things are done happening. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then he says, Kev to action. Get it right. I am the content. Then he said, Phil is the real hero, referring to our cold open. I can never be playfully snarky towards him ever again after that cold open. I tell this story. I'm guessing you didn't listen to the last episode. I tell this story of like how he was drilling in the floor and you guys got home early and he just basically ran outside as you were getting out of the car and was like, everything you're going to see, I can fix. Like he just saw them and like dived on the grenade as soon as he could see it.
It was somewhat concerning.
Well,
I thought he was running out like he didn't want Jacqueline to have to walk from the car to the house. I'm like, what the hell?
No. Yeah, we were like, it was getting away from us in the house. And then you got home and I was like, she's going to be mad, Phil. And he was like, I got this. And he like ran down the stairs out the front door and yelled at you that. And then Neil even pointed out, that's probably not the best way. I was like, no, it was great because she thought it was way worse than it could have possibly been.
It's really not that bad.
Yeah, it's not. Okay, so answer the question, Neil. What games would you like to see more of?
I just want more single-player story games. I mean, I know everything nowadays has to have a multiplayer component to it just because that's what the general populace wants, but I feel like games like God of War and Uncharted and all these other single player narrative games are becoming more and more few and far between. Having a multiplayer aspect, doesn't hurt, but usually the single player story content is just kind of tacked on at the end or is not the main focus of some of these things. I think like something like the first Titanfall would be a good example of that, to where they wanted that multiplayer game, but they were like, oh crap, people want story. So they made the story be multiplayer, which was kind of weird. But yeah, I don't think that there's necessarily enough of the single player genre out there.
I think there's too much. So to answer the question, I think there's less narrative-driven story player AAA games. I just want a playground. I don't want to hear about people talking. I don't want to hear about the backstory. I just want you to let me create myself in a game that I can't do in the backyard, and let me just play in that world. Like, that's what I want.
You played Skyrim forever. That's all you did was walk and talk to people.
Yeah, but it's just a playground. There's no thing to, like, there is a story if you want to go that way, but you could just go in any direction and find something.
Oh, the most boring game to watch.
Oh man!
No, Kayla actually
boring on a gaming podcast. Like, we're trying to get viewers, not like push them away. What have I done? What?
But
my hubris has damned us all. On.
To the point though, like, I know Kayla's yelled at me. Well, not yelled at me, but like said, when she watched me playing Final Fantasy 15, all I did was just wander aimlessly because there was so much to like find and like random monsters to come across.
Was
but
that
like
kind of along the same lines of Skyrim, that game?
It's got more of a focus on story, but I played it in such a way that like I basically ignored the story as a whole. So I was like way over leveled for where I was at.
Oh yeah. Yeah, okay.
It gets I from a spectator perspective, it's very boring to watch you play.
I mean, that's fair. It is a lot of walking. The thing for me is I like the exploration. I don't necessarily love like having to go somewhere. I like to just like be put in a world and see what I can find. And like something that bothers me about AAA games nowadays is they feel the need that they have to, like, there's just such this like stigma about like they have to have these like big huge stories, but they also have to have like 50 to 500 hours, and then you get all these like bloated silly side quests and stupid. Even in the best games, Red Dead Redemption made me cry 3 times. That story is so good, so emotional, but there were still these parts where, like, spoilers if you've not played Red Dead Redemption, where the main character's dying of freaking lung cancer, but all of a sudden he meets somebody and he's got to collect 10 flowers. Like, like what? Like, why would he care about this at all? Like, stuff like that just like gets jammed in there to make the AAA games big, where I would rather have those story games be smaller, narrative, linear games be cheaper, like $40 or $50. Let me purchase those and have the big AAA things just go nuts with like what they can like put in there, you know? That's just my thoughts though. I know Neil disagrees. So we don't have time to fight about this. Just everybody out there know Neil emphatically disagrees. And also know that my wife is yet again texting while we're recording a show.
I wasn't texting. I was reading an email.
She's just shitting all over my dreams.
Our blind
live
shit.
on the air. Okay. Oh, our blind shit? That's great.
Oh, yeah. Now he cares.
Neil, stop taking me time. I can't fire her. I can fire you, damn it. I can't fire him, everybody. I don't have any more co-hosts.
Oh, ouch.
Well, I don't.
That was mean.
Well, no, I wouldn't pick another. Oh, man.
You can't fire Neil because he's too
I'm
valuable.
far enough in the hole. You don't need to help.
Too valuable. Too valuable. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, well, we're already way over on time, and we haven't even gotten to the talking points. So everybody ready to move on?
Sure.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our first talking point, And if you haven't figured out from Melissa's expertise, it's the Nintendo Direct. 16-minute Nintendo Direct, all about the 35th anniversary of Mario. Guys, all of the rumors and more were addressed at this very small, tight Nintendo Direct show. So we're going to get into it. We're going to go through it. I cannot remember the word that I'm looking for, but
logically in order.
Yeah, in order, but there's a word. Don't worry about it. We're going to go through it in order. But before we even do, I do want to say one thing. This show is the way that any of these companies should be doing these online shows.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Even Nintendo was, their old shows have sucked, but this was definitive. It gave you good releases. It was 16 minutes. I didn't have to waste my whole day watching somebody talk about how they put a village somewhere. It was to the point. You got exactly what you needed out of it. I felt very satisfied by it on a whole. I think everybody here had problems with it, but we'll get into that as we go. I think on a whole, though, it was a good show.
Yeah, I would say so.
You'd say so, too?
I would say so.
I know you don't watch a lot of these shows.
Thank you. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was definitely...
Did you just co-op our kid to get you a water?
I absolutely did.
Nice.
Stella, did
The
you
reason
make
I have
sure
children, people.
Make sure you close the refrigerator.
Free
please.
labor.
Sorry. I've only watched... What was that big show that Neil and Kayla came over to watch?
That was the Game Awards. That's not even, while that is a platform for a lot of previews, it's...
But, that felt like there was a lot of filler, and I realized, obviously, that was an award show. Not this. I would prefer to watch this 16-minute thing versus...
It wasn't even really 16-minute because you had that 4-minute musical thing at the end.
Yeah.
It was actually
right.
12 or 13. So going through it right off the bat, first thing we get released, and this was the thing that made me nervous, but I think that's why it was good that it was at the top of the show because it brought you down to only bring you back up, but the Game & Watch thing.
Yeah, Game & Watch thing looks kind of cute, actually. I wouldn't mind having one of those just to, display it.
How big is it?
It's a watch, isn't it? It's like an Apple.
No, it's like a little clock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's roughly the size of a Game Boy Advance.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a watch.
Yeah, no, it's the watch part of it is strictly just for the time part of it. Outside of that, yeah.
Okay. So it's nothing special. It's a nice collector's item. It's not terrible. I'm not saying it's terrible. It's just when that's the opening of the show, I'm like, oh God, here we go. So then the second announcement, if I recall correctly, was Mario 35.
That sounds right, and we'll go with that.
Because Mario 35, okay, for me...
It was Mario 3D World.
Mario 3D World wasn't the second one, was it?
Yeah, after the watch.
Melissa's watching it on her phone, keeping us to tabs. We were going to get into Mario 3D World, but it was Mario 3D World.
Hey, somebody on the show has to do research.
It's more because my memory is terrible, so I just wanted it kind of up to refresh back to.
All right, well, we'll talk about 3D World first. Melissa didn't even realize that this was a remake, correct?
I have only ever played Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, 3, and then the one with Yoshi. Right?
Super Mario
Yoshi.
World.
So Super Mario World. So I've never played any of the 3D ones. And when you got that Game Maker,
Mario
Maker game, I think I have a really hard time navigating through that game, and I don't want to. Part of one of the things that I enjoy about the Mario games is they progressively get more difficult. And not that I enjoy that they get more difficult, but I know how to utilize this tool or power or whatever because they introduced it in a previous world or level. So like you made a level for me on that Super Mario Maker, and you used all sorts of stuff from other games beyond what I've ever played. Like they had the games on the Game Boy and the Wii, I think, and whatever.
Yeah.
I've never seen any of those. And then Nintendo 64, never seen it.
Okay.
So you threw stuff in that I don't even know how it works because
Feel
it
like
was
this
never
is a weird
introduced.
shot at me.
No. No, it's not a
Just
shot at you.
mid-show.
It's that like so. Using that as an example, so this 3D thing, like I think it looks really cool, but from a player perspective, like I would need to work my way up to it.
Let me
Does
ask
that
you
make
a
sense?
question. As a person who has only played the 2D games,
Mm-hmm.
do any of the 3D announcements that were at this show, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself on this, but do any of the 3D announcements pique your interest?
They interest me, but they kind of sort of scare me.
Okay.
Like I feel like I would want to whatever came after the Yoshi's World one, not Yoshi's World. That's a separate
it's Mario
game.
64, which is coming.
I would
out.
want to play that next.
Okay, so you'd want to play them in order.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But 3D World, you didn't even know it was a new game, but it's actually a remake of a game. We do have some problems with 3D World. I have a problem with 3D World, a big problem with 3D World. But first, let's go to Neil. What do you think about that announcement?
I think it was inevitable, just because Nintendo right now, anything that came out on the Wii U that they can throw on the Switch and know they're going to make money off of, they're going to do that, because the Wii U was such a hard flop. And they've been holding true to that so far.
They had a lot of good games on the Wii U.
They did, yeah. It was the console, not the games.
Right.
So they're porting a lot of that stuff over, and I think, like I said, it's inevitable. I do think that it's interesting that they're adding that Bowser's Fury, whatever that is going to be.
Is that like new content, you think?
From what it looks like, it's new content. Yeah, because they didn't really explain anything about it. They just kind of showed off that sort of teaser.
Right.
But outside of that, I mean, that'll be interesting. Some new levels. So those who have already played the Mario 3D World will have something to go out and get that for, a reason to go out and get that if they've already played it.
Okay. So
I will also say Bowser's arms, top notch.
Sorry, what?
I don't know what to do with that. My wife just,
Arms. He's
my
got
wife
very muscular,
coming
nice
on to Bowser
arms.
over here. I don't know.
He's drawn.
Are you about to lose your wife to Bowser?
Bowser.
Is he gonna come take her, and then you gonna have to go on an 8-world quest to go get her
You're
back?
like, I'm good. He doesn't even win. Like, I'm not even losing to a successful bad guy. All right. Completely aside from the fact that a cartoon character has better arms than me, I'm going to say my problem with 3D World is that game is, and I could be wrong, but I believe 8 years old.
Roughly-ish. Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah, have to be older than that if it was on the Wii.
Wii U, which is the in-between. Exactly. You've never heard of it because nobody has. Anybody who didn't play video, isn't in the gaming community, doesn't know what a Wii U is. Okay. So it's about 8 years old, somewhere between 8 and 10, right? It is up for pre-order. That pre-order is $60. It's a full-priced game for a game that is over 8 years old with no, I mean, unless they're saying that Bowser's Fury is worth a whole nother game, which I don't think so. And we're going to get it probably into the price of the other one later, which I'm not really upset with. But this one kind of bothers me.
I mean, if you think of it like that, like, yeah, it doesn't, like, warrant a new game price.
Oh, wow.
But then
2013.
It's
7
years.
years.
Yeah. But if you think of it as a $40 port that has a $20 DLC built into it, I mean, in that regard, like, I could maybe see, the $60. Again,
I don't know if I believe in $20 DLC.
Well, I mean, $20 DLC, that used to be what the price was for that stuff now back in the day.
Pretty big, though. I mean, that's the thing. How big is this Bowser's Fury going to be? I still don't feel like a 7-year-old game should be being sold, even with DLC, for that kind of price. But, I mean, I guess I see what you're coming from, but still, this is a 13-year-old game they're marketing to us.
7-year-old.
A 7-year-old game that they're marketing
13.
to us as if it's completely and totally new, and that's a little irritating to me. Just because nobody's played it doesn't mean it didn't come out 7 years ago. So the next thing was Mario 35, right? Their timekeeper, Melissa?
I believe.
All right. Mario 35, in my opinion, I don't know if you guys are going to agree, was far and away the winner of this show. I know that might cause some controversy because of what the show ended on. We'll get to that. But I thought Mario 35 was absolutely the coolest announcement at this Direct. I think that it is not only cool and different, but it also was, nobody knew it was coming. It was completely and totally brand new, a completely and totally brand new concept. Just for everybody out there before I get to their reactions, Mario 35 is a battle royale for Mario, but it's more in the vein of a Tetris 99. So instead of actually trying to jump on other people's heads like a Soviet jump game, you play Mario. As you kill enemies, they get tossed onto other people's screen. You play it against 35 other people. When they die, they're out, and then you got to be the last person standing. So you're not actually directly going after these people, but they're slowly getting knocked out, and they can also toss enemies back to you. So that's the basic concept. Pretty cool and different, though. It's also launching free. What was the date, did it say?
2/21. 2/21? 2/12/21.
2/12. That's not coming out until 21?
February 12th.
Okay.
2021.
That's way later than I thought it was going to be.
Well, I mean,
Oh, well, wait.
No, that's 3D World.
That's for 3D World.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's 3D World.
was it October, I think?
Yeah, I know it's this year. But it's launching for free into Nintendo Online. So for me, that was the winner.
10/1.
Oh, happy birthday to me. That was the winner.
Only playable until 3/31.
We're going to get to that.
Yeah,
That's gonna be our
that's
second talking point.
Okay.
So what do you guys think of that announcement?
I mean, I'm definitely about it. I love Tetris 99. I love this idea of a battle royale that I can actually have a chance at playing and surviving at least halfway through. So I think that that's a great idea. I mean, as we've already briefly mentioned, it's weird that they're going to have it go away at the end of March, but
I'm going to talk about that.
yeah, but the game itself, it's a great idea. I love it. I think it's very inclusive too, and applies that a new spin on the battle royale sort of idea, which is sorely needed nowadays.
Now, Melissa, I was sitting next to you when you watched this, and you actually said, "Oh, that's really cool."
It does look really cool, and I think it's a really cool concept. Although I just watched it again while you were talking about the other one. I think it's a really cool idea. I don't know that I would do even remotely well with it though, because of my lack of being able to like I keep saying, like multitask when playing video games. Like if you have stuff coming at you from other people's, there's a lot going on. I don't know how much you guys watched this, but it's like you're seeing all the other screens on the side.
Yeah.
And like trying to map like where you would fall and all of that. Like I think it looks really cool, and I would definitely want to play it, but I think I would be horrible at it.
Tetris's Battle Royale, Tetris 99,
which
works
I've never
exactly
seen.
like that. I hate that, but I hate it because I'm not good at Tetris.
Right.
So like it's very interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they.
Is that Dr. Mario? That's like Tetris, right?
Yeah, it's a puzzle
Sort of.
game.
It's a puzzly game.
I tried to play that the other night when I was putting her to bed. Man, I sucked.
Yeah, Dr. Mario. I don't think there's anybody out there who genuinely likes Dr. Mario. It's.
Dr. Mario.
I mean, I guess it wasn't like I didn't hate it, but I was horrible at it.
Yeah, I can play it for maybe 10 minutes tops. I'm like, okay, I have to play something else.
Yeah, that was kind of how I felt.
All right. So what did you guys think? Did you guys was it as this this was the winner for me of the show? Like best in show, Nintendo Direct, Mario 35th anniversary. What about you, Neil? No or yes?
I mean, it's hard to say because the next thing that happened was just as up there with the surprise and wow factor. So
it's true. Here's my problem. Okay, we'll go into the next thing and we'll talk about that. The next thing they announced was a home circuit, Mario Kart home circuit. This is a revolutionary new toy/video game. Basically what it is you buy a small RC car that looks like Mario or Luigi in a kart.
Or both. It
has a camera with an AR lens on it. Then you purchase these little
gateways.
Gateways. Thank you, gateways. And you lay them out on your floor. That defines how the circuit looks. Then you play in the Switch, and looking at the Switch screen, you're seeing your guy drive around your floor, but you're also seeing all these things like other racers and where the actual road is and all that stuff on the floor in front of you too. So it looks really cool in the trailer. Like they set up like solo cups and your car can knock it over. Like you can actually play with the track with actual physical stuff you could put in there. Looked very interesting. And nobody saw that one coming. However, I have some problems with it. I want to let you talk first, though, Neil, before I get negative.
I mean, I think it's a really cool idea. This is a game of what everybody who has ever had a remote-controlled car has ever done.
Yeah.
I mean, between that and Hot Wheels, like laying tracks out through the living room, going into the kitchen, whatever.
Something like this with Hot Wheels.
Right? Like, well, I think they did kind of have something like that at one point.
But it wasn't as cool, trust me.
Right. It was, yeah, it wasn't as cool. But, like, the idea of it is, it's just really, really awesome. Like, I saw that, and I was excited for it. Granted, I don't know how much it's going to cost because the tech behind it looks like it's going to cost a fair amount because that thing syncs with your Nintendo Switch console,
right,
along with who knows how much that little RC car costs on top of the costs for the game. I assume the gateways come with the game, but, it's not like a simple, you go out and buy a $60 game. This is one of those things that the whole kit and caboodle probably costs you $100+ for one car.
I'm going to say right now, I don't think the gateways come with the game at all. I think they're all going to be sold separately.
That's how they get you.
And I think right now that's my biggest problem. I think this looks really cool. It was really amazing to watch, but I couldn't stop myself from thinking when it was over. I remember this company selling cardboard to kids for $100 a pop. Okay, like this is the same company that did that. How much is it going to be when they're selling remote-controlled cars with fancy gateways for AR lenses? Like.
I think it's also worth considering, too, if those gateways are strictly just cardboard or if there's some sort of tech inside of them. Because if there is some sort of
tech inside those.
If there's, well, from what it looked like in the trailer, the gateways are more so like 1, 2, 3, 4 positioning pieces. And knowing what I know about like technology and everything, the cardboard could have a code on it being read by that AR lens, which can say this is the, like, read that as information and say this is the first quarter, this is the second quarter, third and fourth. From what it showed, you basically like they like paint your wheels and then you drive around and make the track and then from there you race on it. So it very well could just be a piece of cardboard, but if there is like actual tech inside of it, then absolutely you're going to be paying for it.
I mean, again, this company sold cardboard to kids for $100. Like that's like Nintendo Labo. Like, and that's the thing. I really reamed them out for Nintendo Labo. Everybody who's ever listened to this show knows how hard I was on Nintendo Labo. I think it's one of the most terrible things that's ever happened in gaming. However, I also said if they want to make quality products, we'd welcome it. So I welcome this, But at the same time, how much is this going to cost us, Nintendo? Especially from a company that's also selling us a 7-year-old game for full price. You know?
I would say that this game's going to retail with everything included for $100, maybe even $120.
Yeah, at least. I think it's going to be more. I really do. So the next thing that came up was a bunch of merchandise bullshit.
Do you want to hear what I have to say about this?
Yeah, geez.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to cut you off. I thought you had just said, you just repeated, that's how they get you a bunch of times. I thought you're...
Don't give him the satisfaction. Leave it a mystery. He didn't ask.
No, I actually have something that I think is somewhat important to nerdy gamers to say about this.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that the tech is super cool, and it kind of scares me that this exists, first of all, because this is like the beginning of robots taking over the world. Or an advancement of that. But what's very concerning to me about this ad, at the very least, is it literally shows the epitome of every old... I know you've never met him, Neil, but Zach, picture my dad and his thought on gamers. And you're just sitting there looking at a screen and ignoring the world around you, blah, blah, blah. This kid is literally sitting on his couch, hunched over a video game, making things happen around him and staring at a screen.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think the tech is really cool, but it
feeds into that.
It feeds into that, and I think it's really really cool. I think it's really gimmicky. Like the first thing I thought of was the Nintendo Labo thing, which this obviously is not selling cardboard for hundreds of dollars.
Right.
There's something to this, and I'm sure there was something to Labo, and I don't really care.
There's nothing to Labo. It's bullshit. I don't care what anybody says.
Like, I'm sure there's a lot to this, and it looks really cool, but this kid is literally controlling the world around him and not looking at it. And that's kind of disturbing.
That's actually an interesting opinion.
To actually build off of your point, you actually bring up, it makes me think about something too. This information that's being stored, I mean, I don't think that Nintendo, I think you already know where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I don't think that Nintendo is going to save this camera information.
Yeah, but if the right person hacked it, ooh.
That's true. I mean, they would have to hack through a couple layers of stuff, but if you're determined enough, I mean, people can do anything in regards to that sort of tech. The first day that little RC car gets up off on its own when my Switch is docked, starts driving around my house, it's getting smashed. I don't even care.
Well, no, I look at it as you're literally giving people an inside view of all the shit in your house.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
If they can hack you, I imagine they can figure out where you are from an IP address, or is that just in the movies?
No, they definitely can.
So, they would know where you live. They know that you're wealthy enough or stupid enough to spend that much money on this thing, and now they can see all the other expensive stuff you have in your house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or like the people too, like if somebody captures it for like a Let's Play and puts it online, that would be like the worst.
That's true. That's true. Oh man.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Really want somebody to make a pile of dog shit an obstacle though. For a Let's Play, like avoid it. That car cost $100.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing that happened, if I recall correctly, was a bunch of merchandising crud.
Yeah, I don't think we really even need to touch on that too much. Yeah.
Can you explain though? What's the Splat thing?
It's Splatoon. It's another game. I can explain it off camera. We don't really have time.
No, that's fine.
It's another game.
It was clearly a Nintendo thing, and I just
it's all synergy, everything. It's the same as furniture and Animal Crossing. Basically, it's that kind of thing, like just synergy with Mario.
I mean, I totally want these overalls though.
So then we come back from the merchandising, if I'm recalling correctly, to the updated All-Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And this was really cool. I thought it was just cool. They basically took Mario All-Stars, they added it to the Super Nintendo online already. You can play it right now. But what they did differently from the original is all of the graphics are updated. The original Mario, but it looks like Mario 3 graphics. Same with Mario 2. This was cool, man. Did you check this out at all, Neil?
Wait. I must be misunderstanding this then, because I thought it was just strictly the Super Mario All-Stars that was on Super Nintendo is just on the
They redid it. They redid the whole game. If you go in right now into the Nintendo Online and go to the Super Mario All-Stars in the Nintendo Online, all of those Mario games, the Lost Levels, the original Mario, they all have Super Mario 3 graphics. They up-resed all of them.
Mario 1, 2, 3, and the Lost
And the Lost Levels. So they all have like up-resed, more colorful graphics. So Super Mario 1 looks more like Super Mario 3. Super Mario 2 looks more like Super Mario 3, and they all look more colorful and better. Like, it's really cool, dude.
See, I thought they already did that in the Super Mario All-Stars for Super Nintendo, because that was like the first real HD remake in my eyes.
They didn't. They were just the same games.
That was what we had.
Yeah, we have it.
Kids.
That's why I know.
Yeah.
We literally played it.
Yeah.
You and I on a RetroCon.
Because we didn't have the regular Super Nintendo, the regular Nintendo. We got the Super Nintendo. That was our first our only new gaming thing until my brother bought himself, I think, a Wii. But the one game that we had was Super Mario All-Stars that came with it, and it was the same as what we would play at our cousin's house on the regular Nintendo. It was exactly.
I'll have to go check that out then.
Yeah, it's really cool, Neil. I immediately went on and checked it out. And I didn't play for very long because they're not really my games, and I haven't played them in a long time. They don't really interest me that much. But I just went into each one just to look at the graphics. They're so cool. It's just so cool to see the original Mario looking cooler, you know?
Well, and there's a lot of glitches, especially in the original Mario and the Lost World. There's a lot of glitches on the Switch. So I'm actually curious to play these and see
if it's a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really cool. I thought that was just a cool thing. It was also another free announcement, which was really cool. I think they needed that to temper some of the other more pricey things that they announced, which brings us to the big one, the final announcement of the show. Unless I'm forgetting something, I don't think I am.
No, I think that is about it.
And that's Mario 3D All-Stars. They have collected Nintendo 64 Mario, so Mario 64, the first 3D Mario, Melissa.
I know, I want to play it.
Then Mario Sunshine, and then Mario Galaxy, which was my jam. Nobody else, I don't think a ton of other people love that game, but I did. All into one collection. It is $60. It's up for pre-order right now. What'd this mean to you, Neil?
It meant that we woke up at 9 a.m. and went to GameStop and pre-ordered it. Yeah, no, seriously, we I was at work yesterday when this aired, so I wasn't able to watch it live, but whenever you had messaged me about it, that's what I was alluding to. I was quite certain that this was going to be announced because it's been rumored for months now, almost a year, that they were going to be doing this, and like it was just a matter of the confirmation. So like I kind of knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But
Mario's
Mario 64, I'm all about. Mario Sunshine, I'm all about. I hope they did better with the controls on Mario Galaxy because I hated the Wii controls for Mario Galaxy.
Everybody's nervous about that.
I tried. Well, from what I understand, they are updating the controls.
They did. However, the big problem right now is how do you play it on the Switch Lite? Because the demonstration that they show in the trailer has them with detached Joy-Cons moving them, and they don't have that in the Switch Lite. So they're like, is this game even going to be playable on Switch Lite?
So
raise some questions.
Yeah. From what
I'm sorry.
I was just
I
going
want
to
to let Melissa talk on it. I don't want to get called out again.
No, I wanted to hear what he was going to say.
Okay.
I was just going to say, from what I understand with the Switch Lite, you can actually pair Joy-Cons to it anyways, but it's just really strange because there's no way to really dock the Switch Lite or stand the Switch Lite up. So, I mean,
how would you charge those Joy-Cons?
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks in regards to that.
What is the Switch Lite?
The Switch Lite is a smaller handheld-only version of the Switch.
But it still has like attached, but the Joy-Cons on each side, right?
Yes, it basically looks exactly like our Switch, but the Joy-Cons don't come off, and it's smaller and pocket-friendly.
I wouldn't play a game if you had to keep the Joy-Cons off.
Well, and that's the question is, like, can we play it without the Joy-Cons off? So what do you, aside from the Joy-Con thing, what do you think about this as being a person who do not play 3D?
I would like to play them because like I said, I'd like to like work my way up through the games, but I don't want to spend $60 on anything.
We're probably going to spend $60 on this. I'm just going to, spoiler for everybody out there, I'm going to wear her down. We're going to get this. Like, it's going to happen.
I definitely don't want to spend $60 if you have to play with the Joy-Cons disconnected from the thing.
I will say I do like that it's 3 games for $60.
That's true.
Like, it does not, that's why it didn't feel like a ripoff to me, is yes, they're all older games, but it's 3 full, relatively large-sized games for the $60. The thing that I will say that I had kind of an issue with is I feel like if you're going to do a collection like this, we need some modernized, updated graphics. And the Nintendo 64 Mario looks literally exactly like the 64 Mario from 64.
Does it?
Yeah, at least in the trailer. They do say that it's up-resed slightly, so probably they added some better coloring and shading. It's probably slightly less blocky, but I would have liked that to look like the other ones, especially since they did that with the Mario 2D All-Star one. So I don't understand why they couldn't just see how it's more blocky.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still when you think about.
Yeah, right. The Nintendo 64. But what I'm saying is they've had all this time. Like, why doesn't that look like the next 2 that you're gonna see? Mm-hmm. You know. What about you, Neil? I know it wasn't a deal breaker, but was it a little bit of a disappointment?
I mean, yeah, I would say it is a little bit of a disappointment. I was hoping, because there was that Mario 64 being done in Unreal Engine, and there's been multiple like PC ports that they've been talking about ever since the source code got out there. So I mean,
there's like a fan-made one that looks better
than
Nintendo's official one.
Yeah,
and Nintendo shut down the fan-made one, which, you know what I mean? Like, which I get, but if you're going to shut them down, make yours at least look as good as that.
Which is what they did with the whole Metroid 2 thing on the 3DS. There was a fan Metroid 2 remake out there that got shut down, but like 3-4 months after that happened, they announced the actual official Metroid 2 remake for the 3DS, which was what, you know, we were looking for in that regard. Right. And I was hoping that we would get something that looked maybe like Mario Sunshine graphics,
right,
for the Mario 64 game. Like I said, it's not a deal breaker. I love that game. I've played it. You know, it was my very first 3D game I ever played. But it would have been cool, but they didn't do it, so meh.
Yeah, it's not going to stop me, honestly. These are, in my opinion, for me, the Mario games to get. I'm much more of a 3D gamer than a 2D gamer. Like, I like my share of 2D games. Don't get me wrong, everybody. Dead Cells for life. But this is one that's like, this is my kind of Mario, and I'm very excited about it. I owned a Wii. I was an early adopter of a Wii before I realized it was a garbage system and sold it.
It said compatible with 2 Joy-Con
controllers. It does, but that's the only description, and there are very clear motion sensor controls, so people are wondering how you would even do that with it docked, is the thing.
I see. Sorry, I didn't mean
that. No, you're fine, you're fine. So for me, Mario Galaxy was the only good Wii game that I played. Like, it really was the only good Wii game. I don't care what anybody says. Wii was a nightmare system that survived on a gimmick. And Mario Galaxy was a 10 out of 10 for me, so I'm very excited to have that in a place where I can play it eternal, you know?
Yeah.
Are you also excited to get the entire playlist of all the beeps and boops?
Oh yeah, the soundtrack stuff. I don't know. I do like video game music, so I would probably listen to that.
I've never heard the video game music from these, but the Marios leading up to this point, I would. That's like corporal punishment.
Really? You love that game? You don't like that?
You just had to listen to that over and over. Like, why would you ever choose to listen to that?
You choose every time you play it. Oh, over and over again.
I turn the volume down, like off.
I think you're possibly the only person in the world who doesn't like the Mario theme song.
Oh my gosh, it's horrid.
You are
stuck in your head.
So let me just track this. Your first time on the podcast, you've said Skyrim is boring and the Mario theme music is bad. That is fun.
I'm sure it's great for
You're
video games.
You're just going to walk away and let me and Neil pick up the pieces.
It's incredibly obnoxious and it's like an earworm.
Okay. So we got to move on, unfortunately, because we're at 56 minutes according to my timer, which is wrong. But only by about 5 minutes.
So that comes out on the 18th. So like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Out very soon. All right. So I have a tinfoil hat conspiracy. I know we still have a ton of show. We'll probably go long. Everybody out there, sorry. We always do. But I need to get this out there. And since I don't see that we have enough time to take a break and come back to the talking point, I think we should just power through into this, if you're okay with that, Neil.
Yeah.
Okay. So the big hullabaloo on internet about this, the big downside of everything that was announced here is that everything is only available till March 21st to purchase. That's it. And then it's done. You can't get it, whatever. Same with this Mario 35. Like, that goes away at on March 21st, not March 21st, March of 21, yeah. March 2021. So all of this stuff goes away. It's like 5-6 months you get to buy it. So I have a theory, Neil, on why this is, okay? Because we've been talking about why they would do this. Twitter is all about, like, why in a pandemic year would you give people only 6 months to buy it? So here's my theory. The reason is, the absolute number one reason is so that they can control the price and keep it $60 permanently. So 6 months is about how long it takes a game to depreciate in value. And a game depreciates in value when the game starts getting traded back in. When it starts getting traded back into GameStops, Walmarts, Amazons, because everybody has a trade-in policy now, then the game's overall new value starts to go down so that the new value can compete with the traded-in values, so that you can make it worth it in your head. That's when games start to depreciate, when people start trading them back in. Well, guess what? Nobody's going to trade in a game that they bought that is a limited release, because it's a collector's item. You do not buy a game that's only going to be out for 5 months and trade it back in. You keep that forever because you can know you can never get it again if you do.
Weren't some of those games free until March?
Okay, I'm going to get to that in a second. Okay. But for the games that are being sold, you can keep them at $60. If they stop being available physically, and on that 6 month date when they would have depreciated, then they can say, well, there's none left. Nobody's going to trade it back in. We can keep the price digitally $60 indefinitely. Now, on the subject of the free games, that's when they start selling them.
Right.
It's that simple. They say, okay, well, you've had it for this long. You will keep it up. Or they take it down for a month. They wait for everybody to beg for it. And then they go, all right, we'll bring it back up for $30 or something like that and sell it to you.
I think what I'll say to the whole limited run and the theory about the price, I don't know. Nintendo's got a track record of all of their first-party stuff staying at full price pretty much. It is very rare. You get maybe two Nintendo sales a year where all the first-party stuff is on sale for at most like $10, $15. But outside of that, everything, even still like Breath of the Wild, which has been out for like ever, the Mario Odyssey game, like all of those still stay at their same $60 price. Plus, given the fact that they've already said it's going to be a limited run, and we by association are going to assume that it's going to be, a collector's item after they stop making it. It's going to be one of those things, whether or not it's to control the price, that price is still going to stay at $60, because once they stop selling it, that's it. That copy of the game is only going to go up in value.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what it is. They're doing it for that. They're doing it for the same reason that Nintendo Classics come out in limited runs, and Nintendo Super and an SES Classics come out in limited runs. It's so that the price is driven up. They keep the supply super low, so the demand just goes through the roof. And to rebut you on the Breath of the Wild and the other ones that stay full price, they stay full price because they're 10 out of 10 games by all the markets standpoints. Breath of the Wild, regardless of what I or anybody else thinks about it, was a game of the year. It was huge. It revolutionized gaming. Super Mario Odyssey was right around the same thing, maybe a little bit less. So those games don't get traded back in, and that's why the price doesn't go down. And I'm not talking about the price digitally. I'm talking about the price new in store.
Yeah, well, in that regard, then, like, I will direct you to like things like the Mario Tennis Aces or the Mario Golf games. Those aren't really 10 out of 10 games, but they still keep their same $60 price tag the same way those other ones do. It's Nintendo has this history of keeping all of their stuff. It's not until the consoles end up becoming discontinued that you start seeing that price disparity between the two. Perfect example is like the Paper Mario games. Paper Mario games, for the most part, have kept their value while that system is alive. But like on the 3DS, whenever the 3DS got discontinued, that Paper Mario sticker star went from being a $40 game down to a $12 game, just like that. Meanwhile, you can still go and try to find a copy of Mario 3D Land. Granted, they made 3D Land a classic game that's $20 now, set price brand new, like a greatest hits, but that also is after the 3DS got discontinued.
I mean, do you have a theory as to why they would make them limited run then?
As to why they would do it, just because it's Nintendo, they've got a history of doing that. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily to make it be a $60 game no matter what. It's just Nintendo does what Nintendo does. They did that for Mario's, I think it was the 30th or 25th anniversary, they ported Super Mario All-Stars to the Wii. Right. And you can find, and that disc, again, that was a limited run disc, and it's hard to find now. And if you do, they still want like $70 for it. Trying to think other examples of that. I mean,
I guess I don't disagree with you. I still think that there's got to be, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, yeah. I still think the free stuff, they're gonna basically take it down for 3 months. They're gonna do what they did with Nintendo Classic. They're gonna take it down for 3 months, then they're gonna charge you to play it.
Yeah, the Mario 35 honestly is the biggest one that I am just so confused. Yeah. So you're gonna build an entire whole game and put it out on your system to have it on the platform to have it for what? 6 months, something right. Like that, and then literally throw it in the garbage and never do anything with it ever again. Like, that just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't. I agree with that. All right, so that was nearly the entire show. I think we've covered everything. You want to move on?
Sure.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
That brings us to the end of the show, the moment you've all been waiting for, the Horrible Arena. What is the Horrible Arena? If you guys have never listened or watched the show, well, first of all, you should listen and watch the show more. What the Horrible Arena is the co-hosts of this show get to pitch you a game. It's based on a pre-existing criteria that we never remember to tell you what that is. This week's was Tactical Strategy Game. Each of us will pitch you a developer, a game, and then the name of that game. You will then get to take to wherever, the comments, and tell us which game you would want to spend your hard-earned money on. So the Quantum Coin has been tossed. Neil has first crack at things. Neil, take it away.
All right. So my game is going to be called Project Trick or Treat. And it's going to be done by Ghost Town Games, the people who did Overcooked. So this game would take place in multiple neighborhoods overnight on the weekend of Halloween. You would play as a single kid trick-or-treating at the start. And it all begins early in the evening when you run into your school bully. The bully would take all your candy, and he's going to take all your candy and then go hit up all the other houses in those neighborhoods and tell you that they're just going to take it all for themselves. You would, with a group of 3 other companions, go throughout 4 different neighborhoods a day for 3 days. And the object of this game would be to take as much candy as you possibly could from the neighborhoods in general. You would pick your group based off of their individual abilities. One kid could be super fast but couldn't carry as much candy. The other kid would possibly be slower at collecting but could get a lot more in one go. You could also have a friend that could go after the bully and his friends to take their candy from them to kind of help you out and bolster your numbers. Or you could even split them up, send 2 kids to one neighborhood and you and another kid hit up the one neighborhood that you're in. You could also possibly recruit other kids along the way by completing challenges when you're in these other neighborhoods for them, like getting different types of candy, or one might challenge you to see how much candy you can get in a certain period of time over how many houses. And you would just, over this entire weekend, try to get as much of the candy as you possibly could. At the end of the game, you would compare how much that you got against this other bully kid. There would be some sort of story mode in place for that, but it would also open up the possibility for online play as well. You would take your team of 4 kids out into a preset neighborhood situation and use those build outs of these kids to go hit up as many houses as they possibly can and compare candy numbers at the end. I think it would be an interesting, fun, and innocent take on the tactical strategy game genre. But yeah, that would be my Project Trick or Treat.
Okay, Project Trick or Treat. All right, so it's my turn then?
Yes.
All right, so my game is Project Howl. It will be developed by inXile, because I've been playing a lot of Wasteland 3, and that game is freaking phenomenal. I urge anybody out there to go play it. But they're the kings of tactical strategy, in my opinion. My game, though, I'm trying to think what would be different. And Neil, you did a great job. Yours is very different from what any other tactical strategy is, and that's what I wanted to do. So how I approached it is you would get to start a wolf pack. Basically, you are a wolf. You get ousted from your pack because you're, whatever, hurt or something, something along those lines. Then you get to find other wolves, bring them into your pack. You then get to keep your pack going by mating with other wolves. There's a romance system in it. And then the strategy is taking down animals for food. You get to survive. There is a deep seasonal system. You get to survive winter, deal with summer, spring, fall, rains. You have to find shelter. You have to fight off other packs when the territory becomes situational. Each wolf can get their own special powers. Some are smaller, stringier, but faster. Others are bigger and more brute. You can also, as far as the loadouts, obviously they're not going to get equipment, but what you would get is like a detailed skill tree for each wolf. So it would kind of be like Wasteland in that, where each wolf would have kind of its own kind of specialty. Some would be better at gathering, or maybe even intimidating other wolves, while others might be really good at bringing other wolves into the pack, that sort of thing, or even mating to create new wolves. And then what you would do is you would just keep that pack going as long as you could. The game would just constantly evolve with you, kind of throwing new procedural stuff at you as you go through it. And you just keep your pack going through generation after generation after generation. So that's my game, Project Howl. It's up against Project Trick or Treat. I gotta say, this is one hell of a main event, in my opinion. These two games, I would play the hell out of both of them. Neil, your game is amazing. I was sitting here just looking at Melissa like I would play the shit out of that. So I'm very excited. You guys get to decide in all the places we're about to tell you.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to the end of the show. Finally, I'm sure we went late again, although I completely lost track of time. Off to our special guest, Melissa. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
I think people should know by now. I have no life, so no reason to plug anything. So no, thanks for having me.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna for Melissa plug her show with me, Prelude to Divorce, every Sunday. We are currently doing Soviet Jump Game.
I thought that was a given.
Oh, was it?
I mean, if they're here. Right?
I mean, at least you didn't plug like the sale of a car or a house. You've done that before, which is highly entertaining.
House is sold.
House
car
is sold. Car is sold. We're living the dream. Neil, anything to plug?
Just again, the Terrible Talk video that I put up. I'm glad we have an official name for it because we were just calling it Opinion Video.
That was all. I don't want Kev's ego.
That was fantastic.
His ego is already too big, but that was a great name, Kev. It was a great name.
But yeah, go ahead and check that out. Like I said before, like I put a bunch of work into it, and I'm actually already thinking about what I'll do for the next one. So yeah, stay tuned for that whenever it comes out.
It's out. Oh, the new one.
My new one that I'm going to do. But you have one, don't you?
I do. I was going to echo you. I am very proud of my Terrible Talk. It was nowhere near as edited as yours, which I applaud you, sir. You did a wonderful job on yours. I urge anybody to go check out Neil's before mine, but then maybe check out mine. I talk about the state of reviews, and that one came out this last Thursday. I was very nervous to do it, but I had a lot of fun. I'm also excited to do more in the future. I think it was interesting. As far as anything else, you guys can check us out on Facebook at Old Man Gaming DH, on Twitter at Old Man Gaming 9. You can join our Discord. A link is in the description below. You can influence this and all of our shows from there. You can also check out anything we have to offer. Just find something you like. We love doing it. We're also probably going to be having some new music from Nick coming up with maybe some new music videos. We're still hammering out whether we're going to do an album or he's just going to make music for us for the channel, period. Yeah. All right. You guys keep watching and listening. We'll keep making it. Click the like, click the subscribe, turn the bells on, and we'll see you guys in the future.
No, I heard her.
You heard it? You heard her?
I mean,
I can hear her.
But you can hear
All right.
me.
Yeah, I was just zoned out. I was reading an email.
God.
Did your blind ship too?
Yeah, they did. No, I was just reading an email. I mean, we're not doing the show anymore. It's not showtime now.
Thank you.
Neil, it is always showtime. Always. I live my life showtime, baby. I wake up showtime. I eat showtime. I shit showtime. And I go to sleep late after showtime. You know what I dream, Neil? You know what I dream? I dream showtime.
Ugh.